Good morning. It's another commute chat of my unfiltered thoughts. This month in my group classes, we are reflecting on the Niyama tapas. Tapas, not to be confused with the Spanish food dish, which I love, but tapas translates to spiritual discipline, to a fire that burns up impurity so that you can be, that exposes the divinity inside of you. And it's this dance between devotion and discipline. And I've had to work with this throughout the years because I think we live in a very masculine-oriented culture that says, go bigger, go home, no pain, no gain, and is always pushing us to produce more and do more and be more, and it really gets us to tie our worth to doing more and being more, reaching that next status. So my thoughts around tapas is sometimes checking our ego and saying, okay, I know you can do more, but can you do less? And I know that yoga is a liberation practice. It's a liberation of self and the collective. And so for me, discipline, devotion, it doesn't have to feel dense. For a while, it did feel dense. It felt like, oh, it's a duty. It's something that I have to do. It's something that feels heavy. And even the word discipline, right? Like, I grew up in a very discipline-oriented household. It was a very strict religious household, and there was a lot of discipline that was practiced in that household. And I grew up, spare the rod, spoil the child kind of mentality, so I was disciplined. And so I had to rework this idea around discipline for myself, for it to even feel safe or to feel good. And not that everything always has to feel good. I'm not saying that, but it certainly should be looked at if it feels triggering, So for me, self-discipline was it became an act of self-love, an act of the way you would discipline a child because you love them and you want them to be safe and you want them to grow into the best version of themselves. And it's like that. You discipline yourself to free yourself, right? You discipline yourself to drink less, to observe and be aware of the ways that you may be acting or moving through the world that's not aligned with how and who you want to be, who you really are down to your core. We get conditioned, and even through pain and trauma, we find these coping mechanisms and strategies and way to disconnect, to keep ourselves safe, all of these things. And when we become aware of these things, we can begin to practice a form of discipline around them to eventually free ourselves of those things that hold us down. And so what I'm trying to get at is that discipline doesn't have to feel dense. It doesn't have to be heavy. It can be something that is light and freeing, because I think that's the goal. The goal is liberation. The goal is self-liberation. The goal is to free yourself, and that takes practicing some discipline at first to get past the hump to liberation, to get to a place where you don't need a 5 o'clock glass of wine anymore, where you don't need to gossip to feel better about yourself, or XYZ, you name it, fill in the blank, and this is an ongoing practice. There's always more work to do, okay? There's always more layers. And I'm not saying that we always have to be growing, because then we're getting it again into that mindset of like always producing and always getting better and always doing the thing. And I think we also need seasons of rest, and sometimes it takes discipline to lean into rest until we find a balanced balance within our lives around doing and resting. And I believe that we are intrinsically good, and that we intrinsically want to participate in community. I don't think that we have to be forced to do those things. I think in a healthy state, we want to be a part. We want to belong. It's an innate need in ourselves. I'm kind of getting off topic here, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this practice of tapas, this spiritual discipline, willpower, and devotion? And how does this relate to you and your practice? And what does it make you think of? What are ways that you can invite this practice into your daily life for the goal of self-liberation, for the goal of freedom? And when you free yourself, you help free the collective. So it's not a self-centered practice. When you thrive, you help others thrive. Maybe that's where I was trying to get at with this just intrinsic desire to be a part of the collective, to be a healthy part in society that feels authentic and not conditioned or expected of.